You threw out the candy. You stopped adding sugar to your coffee. You read every label at the grocery store. And you did all of that because you wanted to feel better. More energy, clearer numbers, fewer cravings. But here's the question nobody is asking out loud. What if cutting sugar was the right move, but only part of the answer? Because millions of people do exactly what the advice says. They eliminate sugar, they stay disciplined, and yet the fatigue keeps coming back. The cravings return by mid-afternoon, and the glucose numbers still don't make sense. If that sounds familiar, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you see this problem. Here's where most people get stuck. When we hear blood sugar, we immediately think sugar. Candy, soda, dessert. And yes, those things matter. But here's what most people miss. Glucose doesn't just come from obvious sugar. It comes from white bread, white rice, crackers, cereals, fruit juices, flavored yogurts, sauces, and even some foods that are aggressively marketed as healthy. So the first hidden trap is this. You cut sugar, but you kept feeding the same metabolic fire through a different door, but that's only part of the story. Even if you eliminated every hidden carbohydrate perfectly, your glucose levels would still be influenced by things that have nothing to do with food. Think about the last time you had a terrible night of sleep. The next morning, your body is already operating under stress. Cortisol rises. And cortisol, the stress hormone, directly signals your liver to release more glucose into your bloodstream, even if you haven't eaten a single bite yet. So your numbers go up before breakfast and you have no idea why. Now add chronic stress to that equation. Same mechanism, same result. Your body reads stress as danger, and danger means fuel, which means glucose release. This is where it gets interesting. Most people experiencing confusing glucose patterns aren't failing at discipline. They're operating with an incomplete picture of how their metabolism actually works. And that distinction matters a lot. If you've ever felt confused after cutting sugar and still seeing numbers that didn't make sense, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and whether you know someone who's been through the same frustrating cycle. Let's go deeper. There are 4 key variables that most blood sugar conversations completely ignore. Number 1, meal timing. When you eat can matter almost as much as what you eat. Eating a large meal late at night, when your body is preparing for rest, creates a very different metabolic response than eating that same meal at noon. Your insulin sensitivity naturally decreases in the evening, which means your body is less equipped to handle the same food load at 9 p.m. than it was at lunch. Number 2, movement. Your muscles are one of the most powerful glucose-clearing systems in your body. When you move, even a 10-minute walk after a meal, your muscle cells absorb glucose without needing insulin. That single habit can reduce post-meal spikes significantly. Sedentary behavior, on the other hand, leaves glucose sitting in the bloodstream with nowhere to go. Number 3, sleep quality. Studies suggest that even 1 or 2 nights of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by a meaningful amount, temporarily making your body behave more like someone with pre-diabetic patterns. Not because anything changed in your diet, just because your system didn't get to recover. Number 4, stress response. Chronic low-grade stress, the kind most people carry every day, keeps cortisol slightly elevated for hours at a time, and elevated cortisol keeps glucose elevated. It's a quiet, invisible variable that no amount of sugar elimination will fix on its own. Here's the real picture. Blood sugar balance is a system, and when you only address one input, dietary sugar, while the other variables keep running unchecked, the system stays out of balance. This isn't about blame. This isn't about you doing something wrong. It's about understanding the whole equation. So what does a smarter approach actually look like? It starts with expanding the lens. Instead of asking, how much sugar did I eat today? Start asking, how well did I sleep? How stressed am I? When am I eating? And how much am I moving? Those 4 questions answered consistently give you a far more complete picture of what's happening metabolically. From there, some people find it helpful to include targeted nutritional support as part of a more complete routine, not as a replacement for habits, but as a tool that may help support the body's natural metabolic response alongside better sleep, movement, and stress management. Certain ingredients, found in research-backed formulas, have been studied for their potential role in supporting healthy glucose metabolism. Things like berberine, cinnamon extract, chromium, and other plant-based compounds that work alongside the body's existing systems. not against them. When combined with smarter habits, these kinds of support options may help fill in the gaps that lifestyle changes alone sometimes leave behind. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is understanding your system well enough to support it more effectively. If cutting sugar felt like the right step, it was. But now you know it's the beginning of the conversation, not the end of it. Your body is not broken. It's responding to a much more complex set of signals than most health content ever talks about. And now that you see the full picture, you can start working with your metabolism, not just against one part of it. For more information about the blood sugar support option mentioned in today's video, check the link in the first pinned comment. You'll find details about the formula, the ingredients, and how it may fit into a smarter daily routine. Thanks for watching Metabolic Truth. Stay curious and stay consistent.